Why is it we call chest breathing a stressful breathing pattern? This was a question that was presented to me just this week in our School of Breath Science community in one of our revision sessions around breathing mechanics. And one of the things that we talk about in functional breathing is the physical way we breathe. So of course, some people might think that everyone breathes normally and that they all breathe the same and that we don't need to worry about breathing. But actually the way that we do breathe in terms of the actual movement and the motor pattern impacts our psychology and impacts our physiology. So in this video, I'm actually going to share with you the answer to the question. I'm going to share with you the 5-minute session that I had with the individuals that talked about this particular question so that you can gain some insight. And not many individuals go to the depth at which we're talking about in this little discussion here. So of course, if you're an individual who enjoys breathing science, is a practitioner or a facilitator who likes to learn more, you can always join our community and join these sort of sessions. Just visit schoolofbreathscience.com. Of course, like and subscribe. Drop any questions you have in the video below. All of you right now, take a big deep breath into full through your nose. And then just let a little bit of air out and just try to breathe from that position. Does it feel like it's more work? Does it feel like it's less work to breathe in that position? Yeah. So remember, the breath's going to take the path of least resistance. So if there's more work, it's going to find a way to compensate. And how's that compensation? If we're going to breathe into the chest, that's hard to breathe against the rib cage. And it's also hard to extend the diaphragm even more. So we'll just breathe shallow. But then we don't get enough air if we breathe shallow. So what happens to breathing rate?
Goes up.
Yeah, because we still want the same amount of air going in and out. But then because we increase our breathing rate and we breathe shallow, what does that do to potentially to the alveolar ventilation? The amount of air that's actually getting to your alveoli potentially could reduce it. So therefore it's an inefficient breathing pattern. But then the faster rate is a compensation by your pre-Botzinger complex. And what does the pre-Botzinger complex, what does that connect with in your brain? What part of the brain? Can anyone remember? So the pre-Botzinger complex projects into kind of the middle part of the brain. Yeah, and we have this little area called the locus ceruleus.
We're not going to get tested on that, right?
No, not at all.
That is,
No. Yeah, I want to hear this in your case studies when you write it all up, and I want to see the reference. By the way, they've only just discovered this in mice, but it translates across into human brains as well, in terms of actually getting the projection points. But the locus ceruleus is what secretes your noradrenaline. And so the faster your pre-Botzinger fires, the more noradrenaline is released into the body, the more sympathetic tone is then increased. And therefore, some people might report that as anxiety. Or you might get 82-year-old Peter Litchfield who reports that as excitement. Yeah, so it depends. Depends on how you like adrenaline. If you don't like adrenaline in your body, it'll give you anxiety. If you like adrenaline in your body, then you'll just be running around a day buzzing, enjoying your 20 breaths per minute because it makes you feel high. It makes you feel good.
so that's the locus ceruleus that when you breathe shallow, it stimulates. And that's
Yes, so the pre-Botzinger complex projects to that, which then activates that, and then that releases more noradrenaline. So then that's the whole cascade.
Noradrenaline is what is that, like a hormone or
a neurochemical. So the chemistry between your neurons, which would excite the neurons.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like something where it would engage the sympathetic nervous system.
Yes, no, that's exactly what it's doing. More noradrenaline is making the sympathetic tone increase.
And would it be related to the amygdala in any way?
Noradrenaline is going to increase activity in the amygdala, which is then going to increase activity in the sympathetic nervous system, which then comes back down to the body. Yes. Now, depending on how much someone's fearful, that's the sensitivity component of your amygdala. People who have fear have a heightened sensitivity amygdala, so that means less adrenaline to make that amygdala fire. So I hope that you took something from that short little clip there. I'm looking to put more of these out so that you can start to gain some insight to some of the answers and some of the quality of the education that we have in the School of Breath Science, which offers the most advanced and evidence-based certification out there. It's broad, it's deep. We go from everything from functional breathing to nervous system to emotions to breathing and exercise to cold and heat to sleep, how it all interacts together, including our psychology and our human behavior. I'm going to say and put this out there, this is the best education that you're going to get outside of academia. So if you are an individual who enjoys the science of breathing, do check out the Breath Science certification. The link is below. Like and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.